All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So we will review the wheat sector today, covering just about all of them, I think, on this one. And the big thing I've been talking about is just the major movements going on the overall markets, right? And specifically the Dow Jones. Whenever I'm looking at this sector, all I really care about is the Dow Jones, right? There's not a lot of technology in this stuff, right? We're farming, we're selling at stores. Dow Jones is all I really care about, right? And when I look at the DJ30, right, the Dow Jones Industrial, I see it go up, I see it come down, I see it go back up, right? And really, that is almost the mirror move that we see on Tilray, right? It goes up, it literally comes down until the fifth, and then we see that same recovery, right? So there are some earnings like updates that are mixed in with this, but really it just seems like the sector is actually following the market more than anything. All right. ACB, it looks like they actually had some good earnings. It looks like people liked it. Had a not the best day today, but I'll talk about that one as well. CGC had earnings this morning, if I'm not mistaken. Not the best is kind of what the initial reaction was, but hey, it's Friday, right? I think Monday's gonna matter a little bit more, but obviously I would have liked to see a gap up instead of a gap down, right? And then SNDL is holding pretty well, and then I think MSOS is also very much following the Dow Jones. All right, so I'm going to talk about all this and more, but before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I am so grateful for it. All right, so let's get into it. And hey, Tilray, I said it on the day of the earnings. I said it actually the last couple videos, and I'm going to say it one more time. Yo, this Tilray earnings was good. It was the first good one of this year. I am not trying to downplay how much I actually like the earnings. They hit some good earnings per share numbers. EPS, I always say, are the 3 most important letters. There was a lot of good, okay? The problem is the market's not happy right now, all right? And it's really easy to see it if you just look at the S&P 500 and zoom out, right? I mean, we were doing nothing but up, a little moment of down. We've now done another moment of down, and you can see it's a little bit worse than the last one, right? We're actually under the 100 on the S&P 500, so on and so forth, right? When you look at NASDAQ, let's take a quick look at NASDAQ, same thing. This one's actually a lot steeper down, and we're already at the 200 on this one, right? When you look at the Dow Jones, let's do the Dow Jones Industrial, DJI. I'm trying to look at it that way. Not a lot of people know it as the DJ30. We see a downtrend, but it's not as bad as the other ones. All right. The thing is, though, I am seeing the 8 moving average come pretty violently down. I have to assume that the 20 moving average is about to follow it, right? And look how close this thing got. I've been talking about just getting just a little bit over both the lines. That was the goal for the SPY. This one actually did it. It's not the biggest of dojis, right? But this one is actually over both of the lines. Did QQQ do it today? No, not quite. But hey, it's at least over this one. Nonetheless, the one I care about, though, like I said, is the DJ30. And to me, we still need a little bit more to maybe make me think that we're going to make a recovery run to 4,000, all right? I think as I look at the weekly, this is a better weekly than the other ones too. Like the other majors, and I'm not going to flash them really quickly, but you can imagine if the dailies are worse, right? They have lost their 8 and their 20 moving averages, and they're either coming down to or actually already lost the 50 as well. This is a better weekly than the other ones, and this one's maybe a little more bullish too, right? And hey, that's good for the sector, okay? Just getting back to the tickers themselves, okay? This is the weekly. Let's go to the daily. Right now, again, we just ended the Dow Jones by saying, hey, there's a shot that thing can break the next moving average and work its way on up a little bit more, right? I think with that, it's this one's not the okay. How do I say this? when I look at the Dow Jones, I know I just said we're done with it. I'm going back, right? That's a nice channel. There is a decent spacing between the 8 and the next line up to make me think we're gonna make that move, right? With Tilray, it's a lot tighter. It just really is. And hey, maybe you can say if you can get to 187, that's the next target up. And then if 187 breaks, you can make the next target 191. Clearly, we're talking about minuscule moves and like minuscule percentages, right? So I really wish that the moving averages were just a little bit spaced better, or we were just hitting them in different ways. Maybe what can happen, maybe, is we can actually get over that 192. But again, 201, I guess you're adding about 10 cents to that. That's not horrible. That's a little closer to that's not horrible. But again, you get the point, right? I think Tilray is so tight that I'm not sure I would want to play this unless, and this is the last time I go back to the Dow Jones, I promise, unless if we can break that 20 moving average, if this thing can break 40,100, give or take, I think that would actually make me believe Tilray could break 201. And again, I've been talking about we really want to trade this channel, right? Like, I know the earnings was good. I know there were a lot of people that thought it was going to go. This is why we wait for confirmation, right? But yeah, I go from 2 to 270. That's more than a 30% move. That is what I'd really want to trade and just look, green, red, green, red, green, red, nothing, right? Like that's the beauty right there, right? If the Dow Jones can do the thing, Tilray will too. Otherwise, man, this is going to be hard to break. And ultimately, I rarely say it. I think the last time I said it was with Soundhound. I know this has nothing to do with Soundhound. There were a bunch of dojis on this line. There were a bunch of dojis on this line. I really felt this was an important line. I genuinely believe, I think I'm going to care about this 201 more than the highest moving average, which is around 192. I need 201 to break to believe, because again, good earnings, doji. Day after doji. One more day, three dojis in a row coming after good earnings. That to me says this was the Hoover Dam of walls. You know what I mean? So that's a little more winded thoughts than I normally do on Tilray. And let's be honest, it's a lot less about Tilray than it is the Dow Jones, right? How many times have I said those two words on this video? But that is my best opinion. I know it sucks that we finally got the good earnings. The problem is they sailed the Titanic when there were too many icebergs, right? Hey, if that thing sailed in the summer, it would have been a very different story, right? So just one of those things where the conditions around matter way more than the tickers themselves sometimes, right? So what the goal on the rest of these tickers are going to be, and honestly I don't know, a lot of this we're going to find out live together, right? I don't pre-record these. I'm hoping there are better channels, there are better spacings between either moving averages or resistance supports that I draw, and that could be the thing that gets taken advantage of, right? But yeah, for now, I never like it when I never like it when three of them, let alone all five and all five being the moving averages, are that tight with each other, right? I didn't talk about the MACD, I didn't talk about the RSI, I didn't talk about volume for a reason. It really matters more up here. And hey, can you guess what I'm about to say? It's the Dow Jones as well, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. I'm going to cluster a few in the next one. Maybe not. Maybe it'll just be these two. So CGC and ACB, I really am clustering them because of yesterday, all right? So CGC had a great yesterday. ACB had a great yesterday. I'm really disappointed to see today's drop on ACB. Some of my thoughts are today's Friday, and Friday's always a loser day, but I got to take into account this resistance and the support. With CGC, the drop was because of the earnings, right? And we'll go over all that shortly. Really quickly, if you can subscribe, if you can share this video, it does wonders with these algorithms, all right? So CGC, we'll start there. So I don't have my phone in front of me. That's normally where I look for news. I have it right here. All right, give me a second. I'll try to grab a couple tidbits that I can share on this video. But look, right now there's a couple things in my head. The goal was, and we just talked about good channels, right? The goal was to get me over roughly 720, whatever we want to call it, right? Get me over the 20 and the 50 moving average right there, and it would have been a real nice climb, almost to $8 right there, right? The problem was we couldn't, and why was that? It was earnings, right? So the earnings did come before. They did miss earnings per share. They did miss revenue as well. Leisha actually said a comment maybe 2 videos ago. I'm going to say about a week ago. She actually very much said she'd be very surprised if they did well. Lo and behold, I think this gap down does prove that she was correct, right? So I'm never a fan of missing earnings per share, EPS. I've always said, I don't care if you're a penny stock or an NVIDIA level blue chip, right? Those are the 3 most important letters in earnings calls, EPS, earnings per share. So I don't like that that was missed, and you kind of can't even like support like at least good revenue stories behind that, right? So to me, CGC is worrisome, and really, I don't even know if a good Dow Jones is going to save this thing, right? Like I've always believed that bad earnings magnify bad technicals. And right now we are, look at this thing, right? Let's take a look. This thing closes today at $6.37, the number at the top in green. If you look at the number in the bottom of that first box in purple, we did not get over the 200 moving average today. We're at the door, but hey, if you're at the door in the blizzard, you are cold. You're not in the nice warm house, right? So we actually closed today under all 5. You know, I care more about the day after and the confirmation, right? Especially on a doji like this, but I don't like it. You can see that the MACD and the RSI aren't the prettiest either. This is worrisome, all right? The one good thing, and it's not really a good thing just yet. We actually need Monday to confirm. But there's a decent reason to believe that we might make a run to 40,100 on the Dow Jones. I'm trying to do some math in my head. That's actually more than a 1% move, and 1% is a really big number on an indice. But maybe this can go up, and maybe that'll help CGC. I'll tell you, if we come on Monday and we close around like 39,200-ish, yeah, 275, 250, whatever, right? If we start heading down to this blue 100 moving average instead of up to this 20 moving average, I would be exponentially worried about CGC. I think we would come back down to this 585 line, and then maybe by the end of the week even come as low as 450. I think right now CGC to 5 really seems the most likely thing, even if the Dow Jones does make that little recovery to a little more than 40,000 that I just mentioned. I'm afraid of today's earnings. I really am. I'm not too sure that the rest of the sector is going to bring it. And I think what really bothers me, and it's funny, there was actually a Discord ACB. I know I saw it earlier, right here. Literally, and I agree with this, right? CGC has good ER, they really do, but they're going to actually come down because of CGC. I agree with this. I think the market got scared that CGC didn't do well, and they kind of blamed it on ACB. You know, again, there's a part of me that wants to say today's Friday. I always call Friday a loser day, but I don't like that we fell more than half of yesterday. I also very much don't like that this 680 line is here, right? Like, we broke the resistance. We confirmed that, like, that's a big doji on Wednesday. This is a doji that says, I think we're ready for ACB to break all 5 and fly. I would have said this confirmed if I made this video yesterday, honestly. So to see today's a little, I don't know. And I think a part of me, it's funny with CGC, I literally said, I think 5 seems more likely. I actually still think 7 is likely here. And I for sure believe if the Dow Jones can make this little recovery, oh, that'll help ACB actually take this and we might start talking, maybe not 9, but for sure I would start talking about 750ish if we can get over that 680 pretty well. So I do like ACB more. I do like it because of the earnings. I don't like CGC that much, and it's because of the earnings, right? So that is the important look. And to me, the problem is you're not going to have another chance to give me better earnings for another 3 months. So I always feel things linger. And for CGC, that's bad. I'm hoping for ACB that actually might be good. I think this is the first video in a while where ACB actually feels like a better place for my hard-earned money than Tilray or CGC. And I think in a little bit of a way, that screams we're in a shaky market. Hey, I say that with love and respect. I know there are a lot of ACB holders out there that do love the stock, and there's so many people that bash it, right? But yeah, this is... ACB did well yesterday. Let's see if that can continue into Monday, and let's see what the Dow Jones does behind it, all right? So two very, very polar opposite, it's funny that I'm going to group these together, right? They're actually literally polar opposite thoughts, but in a lot of ways they're the same thought, just different outcomes of that same thought, right? I'm not looking at the weekly. We need to see the next couple days really confirm again. Friday's a loser day, so let's see what the market really thinks on Monday, all right? Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. I'm going to lump the next ones together, and it's just because this is a little bit longer than I wanted to go on this video. High tide. I really want to talk about high tide, and hey, maybe high tide's going to get its own little section right now because of this, all right? This looked really scary because one of the things I talked about in the last video was we never really confirm. Oh, sorry. If you can subscribe, if you can share this video, it does wonders with the algorithms. The last video, I really, really stressed the 200 moving average, never confirmed. Okay, okay. Let's start here, right? We lose it right here. That doesn't confirm. That's a good candle. Doji doesn't count. That's a bad one. That doesn't confirm. These two aren't much. I would have said these two confirmed right here. And you can kind of argue between the three, maybe that's what it was. The thing that saved high tide from going to 154 and lower was this weekly. And I noticed this. I did. The 100 moving average on the weekly, I think, is the only reason that we were able to make this bounce back up. And this whole video, I've been talking about the spacing between the moving averages, the channel between the moving averages. This is an example where it was good enough for this line to bounce us close to the next line up, all right? I'm not too sure we're going to get over this 198, basically $2, right? Maybe we'll try to get over this 50, but I'm seeing that this 8 moving average is coming down on the weekly, right? Like it's probably going to come to 192, and I can just see that being real tough. Even what's this? 191. Look at that. I swear I didn't know that was 191, right? But right now, high tide daily average 200 is at 191. I'm taking a slope guess that 192 is going to be the weekly. I think that's going to be a real tough number to break. I'm worried that what we've done is gone to a really low RSI of 7, brought it all the way back up to an RSI of basically 48, and now we're going to come right back down. This scares me. I think we're actually going to be coming back down to 154. I saw Raj post something on Twitter about some loyalty program. It sounds good, believe me, it does, right? I think the problem really is, and again, I liked the earnings. I really did. This entire video has basically been about like earnings and market, right? The earnings reaction was bad, and it's now just getting amplified by the fact that the Dow Jones Industrial just is choppy. It's better than the other ones for sure, but it is what it is. And I'm not here to blame manipulation. I'm not here to blame short attack, this and that, right? Like, you gotta follow the market reaction. That's what it is. I always say our simple human opinion, unless you're long and strong. I never use the words buy, sell, hold, right? If you watch my videos, you know that. Unless you're long and strong, you know, you gotta follow the market. All right. So yeah, I went a little longer on high tide because I really actually wanted to highlight this weekly. If we come back down to the 154 that I just said, I think we are. That's gonna put us under all of them on the weekly, under all of them on the daily. That's gonna be a pretty scary thing. All right. So just watch that because if I'm not mistaken, oh, it's not. It's 140. That's not that crazy a fall down. It's under 140 that we're going to start to get real scared, but I think it's too early to talk about that. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Man, I do want to throw in SNDL and MSOS on this, all right? So I would actually say SNDL is doing pretty well. I don't know if I saw any comments on it, but I actually think Sandal SNDL also had some earnings. Let me know if that actually did happen. I will try to Google some stuff actually over the weekend myself. But look, SNDL is holding this 100 moving average so well. And the good thing is the 100 moving average is still sloping up, all right? Um, I just don't I don't know. Let me know about the earnings because the earnings might change some of my thoughts. But man, if we lose this 50 moving average that's sitting at $2.07, there's not a, like this is the only horizontal. It's 188. We're probably gonna fall to 188, which you can see it did very quickly because just I'm gonna delete the lines, right? But that's where the 50 is. That's this horizontal, all it is green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 red, 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 green, green, green. That's why we got the real big quick up and down, right? Like this is a fast little up and down right there. And truth be told, the strongest support point is, in my opinion, the purple line, right? The 200 moving average, all the way down here at 177. So I would avoid SNDL unless it can get over basically 120. If it can get over, you know what? Let's do this. This. Let's call it 125. I would wait for 125 and then I would put a, sorry, 225, excuse me. I would wait for 225 to break and I would put a 290 target behind that. Let's come to MSOS real quick. MSOS, I actually remember seeing this. MSOS very much mimicking the Dow Jones Industrial right now. You see the drop till the fifth, the little baby recovery. When I look at MSOS, you see the drop till the fifth and then the little baby recovery, right? If Dow Jones can make the move up to 40,000, because if we can get over the 8 and come to the 20, yeah, exactly, get over the 8 and come to the 20, I think there's a good chance that that 40,000 move will be real good for MSOS. If we make our way down back to the blue one, you can imagine that's what MSOS is going to do, right? So either this is going to be able to kind of get back to the 755, maybe even get as high as 8, or if Dow Jones goes down, this one's coming down too, right? And I remember doing this. Let's do it real quick. TRUL, True Leave. True Leave ain't that bad. True Leave is like bouncing up and down, up and down, up and down between all five. But hey, it's at least closer to the top of all the moving averages than the bottom, right? Let's look at Curaleaf. Curaleaf. Curaleaf is under all five. That's never a good thing. Cresco. Trying to recover, but a lot closer to the bottom of the five than the top of the five, right? And then Verano. One more time, when only one of the top four is up here and the three others are down here or below, it's hard for the ETF equivalent to be anywhere but down here as well, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.